Space has always been at a premium in our country. After all, we are a nation of over 1.4 billion people. Space isn't a given here, it's a luxury. That explains why people have gravitated towards SUVs, because they are as much about presence as they are about practicality. Scooters too have evolved in a similar fashion. Take the Bergman Street for example. That explains that people are ready to trade off speed and agility for a lot more space and practicality. But a true maxi scooter is something very different, a concept borrowed from Europe. It gets larger wheels, almost motorcycle-like stability, and long-distance comfort. And now, Hero wants to give a taste of it to its customers with the ADV-style maxi scooter, Xoom 160.
Unveiled as a concept at EICMA 2023 and launched in January 2025, the Xoom 160 has been around as an idea for quite some time. We first sampled it at Hero's Media Ride, but spending time with it in Mumbai reveals a few things that didn't come through then. Unlike the Aerox 155, the Xoom 160 doesn't try to be a sporty scooter. In fact, it flips the script and pretends to be an ADV maxi scooter.
Pretends? Why would I say pretends? We'll get to that. But first, let's talk about the styling. Everything from the front beak to the tread pattern aims to convey that rugged persona. The twin LED headlights look smart, but more importantly, the scooter has genuine road presence.
Hero has made good use of the Xoom's size. There's a storage cubby up front that's useful for everyday knickknacks, and even a small phone. Under the seat sits a 22-litre storage compartment, complete with a small light. While the number itself doesn't sound particularly impressive, the space has been utilized well, enough to accommodate certain full-face helmets. Taller riders will also appreciate the generous knee room. Unlike the Aerox, the front apron doesn't interfere with your knees, making the riding position feel noticeably less restrictive.
The fact that the Xoom 160 has been around as an idea since 2023 becomes obvious when you look at its instrumentation and switchgear. Both feel a generation old. In fact, the smaller Xoom 125 gets the newer switches that Hero has to offer, and they look and feel more premium to use. The dash is small, it gets Bluetooth connectivity, but legibility on the move is not the best. It does get keyless go, which adds to the special feeling of the scooter, and you can also unlock the boot with the press of a button. Quite cool. Hero's feature set distribution has always been confusing. For example, the smaller Xoom 125 boasts segment-first sequential LED indicators, whereas this flagship Xoom makes do with conventional bulb indicators.
Talking about the heart of the matter, this 156cc liquid-cooled 4-valve SOHC engine is a gem. It's smooth, refined, and delivers its power in a very linear manner. In fact, refinement is arguably this scooter's strongest attribute. Nothing here feels particularly explosive like the Aerox, but that doesn't mean it's slow. In our tests, the Aerox gets to 80 kph quicker, but by the time both scooters reach 100 kph, the gap has all but disappeared. That's quite impressive when you consider the significant weight difference between the two.
While the engine itself is refined and easygoing, there's one small annoyance. The throttle travel is too long. You'll often find yourself readjusting your grip if you want to accelerate harder or access full throttle. While the scooter looks substantial, it also weighs quite a bit. At 142 kgs, it is 16 kg heavier than the Aerox, and you can always feel that weight in the city, while filtering through traffic, negotiating corners, or changing directions. The Xoom always reminds you that it's carrying a few extra kilos. Although, credit where it's due, it gets a large 7-litre fuel tank, the largest fitted to any Indian-made scooter so far, giving it true touring potential.
The added weight does act as a hindrance on our crowded streets, but it also makes the scooter feel planted. Leaning the Xoom over takes more effort than a conventional scooter, but once committed, it holds its line confidently through corners. However, it does feel like a rather heavy handler, and it's more happy sitting in a steady cruise rather than attacking bends. The chunky tires provide adequate grip in the dry, although wet weather grip leaves a little more to be desired. In our instrumented fuel economy test, the Xoom 160 returned an average of 38.7 kpl. The city and highway numbers are respectable, if not particularly exceptional. What stood out, however, was that during the fuel economy run, the scooter's display indicated an efficiency figure that was nearly 10 kpl lower than what we actually achieved.
Despite the weight, it shouldn't be intimidating for shorter riders. The 787 mm seat height is relatively accessible, and the seating position is comfortable. And you can either place your feet beneath you or stretch them forward in typical maxi scooter fashion.
One of the reasons maxi scooters have found acceptance despite weighing more than conventional scooters is because they offer greater comfort and stability. So, is the Xoom 160 as plush as it looks?
Now here's where the Xoom's adventure scooter image starts to unravel. The suspension simply isn't as pliant as the styling would lead you to expect. Rishad and Azman found it quite jarring. With my heft, I found it acceptable. What somewhat helps offset this is the seat. The cushioning is spot on and longer hours in the saddle won't be an issue. But it doesn't make up for the stiffly sprung rear suspension. Ideally, a more absorbent, preload adjustable rear suspension would have gone a long way on our far from perfect Indian roads.
The braking performance is reassuring. The front disc offers good bite without feeling overly aggressive, while the ABS calibration remains largely unobtrusive. Out on the highway, the Xoom 160 starts to make more sense. The engine feels relaxed at cruising speeds, vibrations are well controlled, and the scooter feels planted. Combined with a 7-litre fuel tank, it genuinely feels capable of covering distances without much effort.
Remember when I said the Xoom 160 pretends to be an ADV scooter? That's because the execution just does not live up to the promise of the styling, which is a shame in terms of expected suspension comfort. Because underneath it all lies a truly interesting scooter, one that's refined, practical, and unlike anything else in the segment. Hero may not have fully extracted what this concept was capable of, but it has given us a glimpse of what a truly compelling Indian maxi scooter could look like.